Hello children, this is Manish Sir and today I have brought first poem for the students of class 9th. The poem is The Road Not Taken. This poem has been composed by Robert Frost. As you could see the picture of the poet. About Robert Frost. Robert Frost was born in San Francisco, but his family moved to Lawrence, Massachusetts in 1884, following his father's death. When his father was dead, he was shifted to Lawrence. In 1884, the move was actually a return for Frost's ancestors were originally New Englanders, and Frost became famous for his poetry's engagement with New England locals. This is a short biography of Robert Frost. He is a very good poet and he is famous for his collections of poetry. Now, I would like to have the attention of every student to the poem. As you could see on the screen, that is To Road Not Taken. This poem is about making choices and decisions related to our life. It is very, very important to know about our choices and decisions. Whatever we choose in our life must be a good choice so that we would not be shying throughout the life. So the poet wants to convey a message to all the readers that every humans have their own choices and they must think for a long time so that it would be clear and very worthy decision. But most of the people do not think before taking decisions. I want my all students to know that we ought to think seriously about our choices and life. The life is very, very important and precious. Once we are delivered in the world, we are known as human being, the most intellectual person and animal out of the world. So we must think. We have a logical sense. And without using it, if we go through the life, it would be disgusting and boredom. We will be shying for our entire life. So the poet Robert Frost says, let you go through the poem line by line very carefully, and I hope every student should be attentive to know each word and every lines very carefully. Two roads diverged in a yellow wood, and sorry I could not travel both. And be one traveler long I stood and looked down one far, just as far as I could, to where it bent in the undergrowth. The first paragraph of this poem: two roads diverged in a yellow wood. It was the time of autumn, so that all the leaves were turning into yellow color. And as we know, during the autumn season, every leaves of the trees turns into yellow. So there were two roads in the jungle. The poet says that there were two roads diverged. They were shaped in a yellow wood. Here, it is the symbolical meaning of human's life, that there may be two choices in the human's life. Second line, and sorry, I could not travel both. And being a traveler, the poet could not travel both ways and roads together. Same happens in our own life. We can't make two choices together. If we want to be an engineer in our life, as well as a doctor, and we want to be an engineer and doctor just at the same time, so it is impossible. We have to make our choice negotiable and suitable. We have to choose a suitable choice so that it would be easy for us to be. So being a traveler, the poet could not travel both roads together. Long I stood and looked down one as far as I could. I waited, standing for a long time, and I looked down one way, one road, as far as I could. The poet stood and waited. Being a traveler, he stood and waited and looked down a single road as far as he could see, to where it bent in the undergrowth. Means he began to think about the target, about the undergrowth, or what would be the turning point and aim if I move on this road. So being a traveler, he stood and waited to see the last point of the road, where it bent in the undergrowth. So, the meaning of this stanza is there are so many choices in our life, and being human being, we must think, we must wait, and we must logically think about a choice, that it is suitable, it is good, or not. Next stanza of this poem, that is, then took the other as just as fair, and having perhaps the better clan, because it was grassy, wanted wear. Then took the other as just as fair. After thinking for a long time, standing there at the beginning point of the road, he decided to move and choose one as just as fair. It was as just as fair, and having perhaps the better climb, because it was grassy and wanted wear. Nobody had gone, nobody had moved on that road, because it was grassy, it was wanted wear, and I could get what I want and desire. Nobody had gone, nobody had decided and chosen the choice that I chose. And though as far that the passing there had warned them really about the same, the poet says, if I choose that one where many people had gone and moved, the result would be same as they achieved and got in their life. If I choose different, the result would be different. My achievement would be different. I want to say that if you want to be an engineer, this is the moral out of this stanza, that this poem relates human life. Okay? And if we want to be an engineer in our life, so we know we have to study maths and calculus you can say, because it is very, very important to be an engineer. So if I am going to study maths, I would be an engineer. The target would be the same as other people has achieved. But if I want to make something different in my life, I must go to choose a different choice. Next stanza, that is third stanza of this poem. And both that morning equally lay in leaves no step had trodden black. The road, the choice the poet decided to choose was fresh and new. Nobody had trodden black. Not a single leaf had been trodden black. Means nobody moved on that way. Means his choice was totally different. Oh, I kept the first for another day. Poet says that I choose one way at first, and I kept the first for another day. Yet knowing how way leads on to way, I doubted if I should never come back. Yet knowing, I knew. What did he knew? He knows that how way leads on to way. Once I start moving on a road, I will be moving continuously, because way leads on to way. Okay? Means way leads to different ways. I will not or never be back. I doubted if I should never come back. In the next line, the poet says that I doubted. Doubtfully, I was thinking that maybe I would never be come back, because way leads on to way. But finally, what does he do? Let you know in the last stanza of the poem. That is, I shall be telling this with sigh. What would happen if I will never come back? I shall be telling this with a sigh. I will be sighing and telling sorrowfully, regrettably to the humans and my generation, because I will be unsuccessful person in my life. Maybe if I choose different, the result would be different. It also may be that the result would be dissatisfactory. I would not be satisfied with my achievements if I choose different choice. Somewhere ages and ages hence, and throughout my life I will be shying sorrowfully. Two roads diverged, and I took one less traveled by, and that has made all the difference. But finally, or eventually, what the poet decides, he decides to choose one less traveled road. He took that way, that just different choice in his life. Okay, and the result was all the difference in his life. Means when he chosen, when he chose a different and just strange choice in his life, the result and the achievements, everything was different in his life, and that has made all the thing difference. Okay, means when he chose a different choice in his life, it was different from others. Okay, his choice was different from others, and the result, achievements, everything was different in his life after choosing and taking that road. That's it. Keep learning.